What's going on, people? Welcome back to Live Palace Focus. I'm joined by a T that looks very tired. Just there. Just like rubbing his eyes and all of that. What's happening? You going through it?
Nah, man, had something in my eye. It's more like it.
Okay, all right. So T ain't tired. Look, he's got, what's that, Gatorade?
Oh, yeah. We always keep it on deck. Keep the
You know
G
what
on deck.
well, we do have it here, but we don't use it. But I'm joined by T to discuss all the latest with Palace. We're going to be talking about the Stoke game we talked about yesterday. So we'll be talking about the points that we haven't really gone into and also looking ahead to transfer rumor. Once again, last week we talked about Elise. This week is one of our strikers. We're going to be talking about that and look ahead to the game on the weekend. As always, if you're watching on replay, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future Palace content. T, are you seeing the score that I'm seeing right now in the FA Cup? Before we even get into our game.
I am shocked. I am shocked. Yes, I am 1-0 to Luton right now.
Yep, Luton 1, Chelsea 0. Luton 1, Chelsea 0. What is going on there? Look, I don't know.
Hold the line, gentlemen. Hold the line.
Yeah. So it's not even the 20th minute yet. It's going to be a long game. It's going to be still a long game for them. But imagine if that happens. I said yes, I was looking forward to that game.
Chelsea's feeling a pretty strong side, though, too.
Yes. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for Luton. But we'll see what happens. 1-0 so far. Mm-hmm. So let's get into yesterday's game. We talked about it, of course, doing a live match reaction, both of us together. So just quickly, I thought going into quarterfinals, amazing. But one area that we kind of dismissed because we won the game yesterday was the performance. We kind of said, all right, we won the game. For me, massive result. One of the worst performances I've seen as of late, if not one of the worst performances this season. Is there any performance that was worse than that? Is there? Maybe
Not
Chelsea?
that I can say. It's interesting because it's interesting that we can talk about one of our worst performances, if not our worst performance, coming in a game that we won.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I honestly, I can't really think of one in immediacy that was as bad as this one was for us.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're lucky that it was a cup game, because if it wasn't a cup game right now, we wouldn't be laughing or smiling as we are. We're through to next round, all that matters, and potentially another big side can be knocked out. But let's move on to the lineup. As I said, we're going to skip through this. We're not going to keep it as long as it normally is. Mm-hmm. So Adam Marola gets his first start. We play 4-2-3-1 with a striker that we've been talking about, that we need to have a striker up there. We've got Elise playing through the middle. Overall, can you even say anything bad about the lineup? I think barring one potential player that I can think about, that was a very strong lineup that no one can really complain about.
No, I mean, it was a strong lineup. I mean, it was good to see us go to the 4-2-3-1. You know, I think this is our second time employing that in a game. So it was good to see us do that. I mean, honestly, the pick personnel-wise, I was good. I mean, except for that one that we're speaking about, that we talked about a little bit yesterday. But outside of that, I thought the starting 11 was a solid one. To be honest, love the fact that Teo got in there and played.
For those who haven't watched yesterday's show, who's that player they're talking about?
None other than Jordan Ayew.
Jordan Ayew itself. Quickly touch on that. I said it in the player ratings. If you haven't already done so, go watch it. Me and Patrick spoke about the players' performances in more detail. After the AFCONs, he hasn't been the same player. And going forward, I feel like there's better options there. And next season, Saki needs to be ahead of him in the pecking order, honestly. From what I've seen so far this season and from how it's going to develop, he should be ahead of him next season. So that's my stance for Jordan Ayew. But let's talk about the positives now. Let's start off with our youngster, Adam Marola. Only 18 years old. Still 18, which is kind of crazy to see. He got subbed off around the 60th minute mark. But overall, I like the fundamentals. That's the word I want to use. I like the fundamentals that I saw from him. I thought yesterday, him running with the ball, his pace, dribbling, from what I saw, it was very good. And I can see a player 100% in him. Maybe he could have done a bit better defensively. But overall, putting everything into context, I thought he had a solid performance yesterday.
Couldn't agree more with you. I thought he was really solid. He showed his pace off a little bit in there. Had a couple good moves that he made. One in particular where he spun the guy and got down the flank and got in on the play. I think he did really well. I mean, at times you could tell he was kind of thinking the game, trying to think his way through certain aspects rather than just going and playing. You know, one particular time was the overlap that he kind of hesitated on when he passed it up to Wilf. But I think overall, from what you're asking for in that situation, from an 18-year-old kid making his first team debut, I thought it was a really, really solid outing for him, man. I guess as he plays more, he'll start to, you know, take a little bit more risks, you know, maybe be a little bit more expressive with his style of play, kind of like he is with the U23s. But I'm happy for the kid, man. I really am.
Yeah, you talked about as he plays more.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about playing more in the first team.
I mean, it could be, you know. I mean, depending on who we play in the quarterfinal, you could see him. You can see him getting to play again.
Ooh,
Whether,
that's a shot.
I mean, who knows? You know, I mean, it could be a chance for him to play more, or, you know, maybe at this point, you know, they start to get a little bit of confidence in him enough to put him on the bench for a Premier League game, and maybe he comes in some garbage time and get some minutes. You never know. I mean, but he's set up to now have that opportunity, and I think be a lot more confident when he's called upon to step in.
And talking about quarterfinal, Oliver's saying as well, and I'm watching it right now as well. Still 1-0 to Luton after 22 minutes. Luton have been Chelsea. That quarterfinal team might be another championship side. Not saying it's going to be easy, but
I was looking. No. Fill me in on this because I know you were watching it for a second. How was Chelsea lining up? Because when I looked at their lineup, it didn't look like they had all. I mean, I just didn't know where certain players might be playing.
Werner is playing through the middle. It seems like they're attacking right now. They got a very strong lineup. Let's just say that. They need his squad. As I was saying that they got a very strong lineup. Look, they should be winning this game. They should be winning the game with the lineup they got facing against Luton. But the last thing on Adam Marola, when do you realistically see him challenging Tyreek with that left back spot? Because he's only 18 years old. We mentioned that. Is it going to take a couple more years? Do you reckon?
I think it could. I think it could take a couple more years, especially. I guess really that timing really depends on the moves that we make or the things that we do leading up to it. You know, if next year we see him get loaned out somewhere to play, to get more time, first team time, then yeah, he probably won't challenge for Tyreek for a couple more years. If we keep him around going into next season, we may end up putting him in that backup role for left back, and with that he's training every single day in day out with the first team. And maybe there comes some challenge for Tyreek, but I would imagine probably like maybe 2 years, but who knows? I mean, it could be a situation like, God forbid, something happens with Tyreek, but you never know. His time could come sooner than we are all ready for. You never know.
Exactly. I don't think he's ready now, to be fair. I think he's already challenging Tyreek in a way. As you can see, he started this game. He's maybe not directly week in, week out, but he's there, and that is crazy in itself because he's only 18 years old. Yep. But another player that I want to talk about, because we played the 4-2-3-1 and we've spoken about it. Sometimes we miss that striker up there, and there's been games where you're thinking, well, there's 3 strikers on the bench, why is he not playing? PV did start striking this game, and it was Mateta. For me, I don't know how he lasted the 90 minutes, but when Benteke came on for the 3 minutes, I felt like he done more than Mateta for the 90 minutes, and that sub was way too late. What did you think of the decision for PV to start Mateta in this game, and what did you think about his performance?
I wasn't upset with seeing him start, honestly. It was one of the things I could see us doing in this situation. But he played in 90 minutes, and it definitely wasn't his best showing for us, without a doubt. I think if anything, maybe that Benteke substitution could have happened earlier. If they're going to bring him on, I think they could have brought him on sooner, which would have been better. But
what do you think he sees in him? What does PV see in him for him to start over Benteke and Edouard? Because I personally feel like Edouard is the better option, or even Benteke getting more opportunities. But clearly, Vieira is seeing something that we're not seeing. And what do you think that is?
I think it's his work rate, man. He works hard. When he's out there, he plays hard. I mean, there was one play we talked about where he ended up coming all the way back into our own box to recover a ball and get it out to Nathaniel Klein, and he just busted straight down the pitch to get back to his position. I think a lot of it, man, he has a really good work rate, you know, so he's always out there grinding and doing his best, even though he's not even the fastest guy. But then also, he works for the ball. He does a good job of trying to get in behind and get passes and things. So I can see some of the stuff that he likes in him for sure.
Yeah, Chelsea just scored, by the way. 1-0.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat.
So
1-1.
yeah, 1-1 after 26 minutes. So they're back in the game. It's not going to be easy for Luton. It was never going to be easy.
And scoring a
But
goal that
still,
early is
okay,
tough.
it's still there for them. It's still there for
Yeah.
them. Luton, they're not expecting to beat Chelsea 3 or 4-0. They're still in the game.
Yep.
And we've gone past a bit of the first half. So let's see what happens there.
Mhm.
And I agree with you to a certain extent. Maybe his work rate could be a contributing factor, but I honestly, I'm not gonna stop saying this till it happens. I honestly feel like Benteke and Edward deserve way more chances than them coming on around the 9 minutes. Last time Edward came on, it was the same time, 90th minute. Would you? It's a bit of an insult at times to them, because what do you expect the striker to do in 9 minutes? I mean, Benteke done something in 3 minutes, but it's not realistic. They're not getting enough game time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes for anybody, any substitution that we're making at that point. I mean, I think at that point the reason why he brought on Benteke was more of a time wasting effort with us being in the little bit of added time. So I could see that piece. But if you really want those guys to get in there and contribute to what's going on game wise, you got to make that sub earlier. I'm in the same boat as you, D. I'm just want to know what's going on with Edward, because I feel like he should be playing more.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like as well. And surely sooner rather than later, something has to come out, because it's reaching a point where it's getting a bit too long and a bit worrying at times as well, where have they fallen out? It can't be a case of resting. I mean, how much do you want to rest a guy?
Exactly.
He probably hasn't sat this much. He probably doesn't even sit this much at home. Like, he hasn't even played the game for how long. He comes off for like 2 minutes. If you're resting him for playing 2 minutes of football, then there's something clearly very worrying there. If
it was just a weird thing, because you talk about guys being in form, out of form. I mean, he had scored 4 goals in 5 games, in 5 matches before he found himself on the bench and not getting back in. So it's like, it's probably not a matter of form, so to speak. So what's really going on? So.
One thing that we didn't realize yesterday, we talked about the substitutes, but apparently, I was there and I didn't hear this, but apparently when some of the subs came on, there were boos around the ground. So the people on the ground didn't like it.
Probably when they brought in Jeff Schlupp. I mean,
it's not in the Jeff Schlupp though. It's not in the Jeff Schlupp. For me, I didn't boo. I didn't hear the boos, but I was very frustrated, and I was thinking, nah, you are taking a piss now, Vieira. Like, I genuinely, that's the point I reached when he brought on Riedewald, which ended up working because he scored a goal, even though someone did ask that question and Vieira just laughed about it, because 100% he didn't bring on Riedewald to score the goal. And they brought on Luca whilst we were drawing 1-1 at home to Stoke. And then you had Jeffrey Schlupp playing in midfield again, and you need a bit of creativity, and then you don't have them players on. I thought the subs yesterday was, I mean, it worked. It worked when you're looking at it on paper, in theory, but I don't understand it. Looking back at it now, are you worried about the subs, what he's doing? We talked about Benteke and Edward not coming on, but just other areas. Eze, took off Adam Marola, put Schlupp at left back, and then afterwards they put on Jared Riedewald at left back. Are you worried about it at all?
Slightly. I mean, I guess naturally we all want to be able to pick Vieira's brain and be like, what was you thinking behind this?
What do you think it was? What do you think it was that he's thinking behind it? We're 1-1 at home to Stoke. We're struggling, and he brings on Luca, which had a good game last time around, and brings on Gyro. Conor Gallagher made sense. Jeffrey Schlupp at left back, I didn't understand that. I don't think Adam Marola was having a bad game. But what do you think it was?
Well, the gyro substitution, the gyro substitution, I think I get it, and it's more of the fact that since we didn't have Tyrick on the bench, and we were in a tightly contested game, I think he wanted to try and solidify us on that left side by taking Teo out and bringing in Jeff Schlupp. But shortly into that, he's kind of like, yeah, Jeff's not going to be the guy to be put here. And then he calls on Gyro. Like, I think it was more of an emergency situation with those subs, which is interesting because, you want to rest Mitchell. I get that. But not having him on the bench is a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So even if we're having him on the bench to bring off if we're in trouble, I think that makes sense. But
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like Jeffrey Schlupp can play a role there. Riedewald can. So Vieira just thought, well, no matter what happens, he just needs his rest because he's been playing too many games.
Mhm.
We've had so many games recently, and it's not only just recently. Throughout the season, he's been playing too many games. But I agree with Tim. Nobody should be booing a sub. It's just disrespectful. It doesn't
Mhm.
help no one. It doesn't help the player. It
No.
doesn't help the team. It doesn't help the fans. No one's gonna win out of that. The only thing that booing does is send a message to Vieira, and even then, it's even though you're massively frustrated, we haven't reached a point where we have to boo about
And the thing
subs.
is, support is support, and it's not like those moves lost us the match. So I
Exactly.
really
Those moves actually you can argue won us the game. We're talking about the
exactly.
reader world substitution. But
Hmm.
yeah, just his subs. I'm saying that he needs to improve on the subs where his subs did prove to work at the end of it because one of the substitutes scored. Even though, as I said, he didn't expect it.
Didn't
But I
expect
think
it.
going forwards, he very much spoke about it himself, and this is another point that I want to get into. The final point about the Stoke game, because we spoke about it yesterday.
Hmm.
Something was off yesterday. That performance was not good enough for Crystal Palace Football Club and what we've seen under Patrick Vieira so far. But for you, Vieira said he was very disappointed after that win, and he said that if we play like that, there's no chance we go to the semi-finals. For you, what do you think it was? Because we had a very strong lineup. We had Elisa playing through the middle, which worked against Chelsea. We had Zaha on the pitch. We had a striker, Mateta, who's been on form on the pitch.
Hmm.
Do you think it was just a bad day in the office? Like our passes weren't connecting? I
I
don't
mean,
know. Like just the whole team in itself, we
you
just
could
struggled.
definitely
What do you think it was?
you could definitely attribute it to like a bad day at the office type of thing. And honestly, if we're thinking about that in the larger scope of things, this season so far, we haven't had too many of those days, which is a good thing to be able to say. Like, we're talking about this being probably our worst performance of the season, and it's a match that we won. You know what I mean? So it could have been that. I think a lot of it also had to do with tactics and tactics from the other team, um,
Yeah.
along with, of course, formation choices. I think us being in that 4-2-3-1 against their 3-5-2, it actually helped. It actually played more up to what they were looking to do as far as pressuring our back line and being able to match us man for man in the midfield +1. Because with us not having the midfield three that we're accustomed to having, and technically having a midfield two with the 10, that makes it to where they've got three in the midfield. Most of the times we only got two. So
Yeah, we got outnumbered in
um,
midfield.
right. So I think that played into Stokes' hand a lot with the way they're trying to press us. So I think the tactics had a considerable amount to do with it as well.
Yeah, I think as I said yesterday, credit to Stoke because I think tactically they got better of us,
Yep.
and also midfield is one of our most important areas when we're trying to
Hmm.
play out from the back, trying to pass.
Hmm.
If you're getting outnumbered in midfield and if there's no passing options there, then boy, that is massive trouble because as we saw yesterday, where we just couldn't play football, which is
Hmm.
what we've been trying to do ever since Vieira has joined the club. But we got a massive game coming up on a weekend. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we jumped, I was planning the show, and then afterwards, I go on Twitter and I look at Twitter and I see news. I see news about
Yeah, very
transfers,
interesting news.
and as you can see at the bottom there, Benteke to leave. Benteke to leave. Could that potentially happen this summer? So, yeah, I saw the report around 6:30 ish. It's coming out from France, and
Hmm.
it's basically a rumor suggesting that Benteke is likely to leave at the end of the season. Benteke, will be the end of an era. But T, are you surprised about this report?
Mm-mm. No, only reason why I'm not is because, well, two reasons actually. I mean, we all know right now his playtime has been extremely sporadic of recent, so he probably feels that he's got a lot of starting 11 minutes left in him, and if he's not getting them here, he's probably gonna want to go elsewhere. The second thing is, in the summer, he's going to be approaching the last year of his contract. He signed a 2-year extension with us for this year and for next year. And if he's going into his final season, we're probably going to want to look to get rid of him to try to bring some money in instead of letting him walk free when he can sign pre-contract at the end of the year.
If that's the point, then why did we not sell him to Burnley in the January window when we were talking about potential 12 to 15 million pound? They had the
Mm-hmm.
money because they
Mm-hmm.
sold Chris Wood for a hefty amount of money. Then why did we not sell Benteke then?
It could be the fact that we didn't know how Burnley was going to end up doing the rest of the season. Maybe we didn't want to see Burnley add a player that could help them stay up. Maybe it was a shrewd business move not to make that sale. And maybe in the summer he goes somewhere outside of the Premier League. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of things that could be said for it, and maybe it's just the fact that Vieira wanted to have all three options at striker because he wasn't sure at that point exactly where he'd be going or who would be playing the most.
I don't think he knows now, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think anything has changed.
Exactly.
Ever since January window to now, we're in March, we're talking about it. So yeah,
why let him walk, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting point. But finally, is it the right time to move on from Benteke? Do you think?
I think so.
Now, you do?
Yeah, I do. I mean, this past summer was his second contract extension with us, I do believe. And you know, I feel like he's been a great servant for us, helped us out in some tough times. But now that we have some guys that are younger, that are talented, that are ready for and doing well with first team minutes, you know, maybe keeping a guy like him on with a higher wage than a lot of guys on our squad already. Maybe we look to move that contract and bring some money in, and you know, who knows what that can end up doing as far as for us with bringing in some other players to cover some other positions in need for us in the summer.
Well, we signed a striker in January window, sent him back out on loan to Derby where he was from, and Nick says it sells. Luke Plange hasn't scored since we signed him, so suitable replacement. So yeah, there we got it sorted. Benteke to leave and Luke Plange to come into Palace, and you know he hasn't scored.
That could have been the view.
It was not looking good now, is it, though, T?
Not at all. But luckily he's only 19, so it's like, okay, if he needs time, not a big deal.
Yeah, I think even if you get rid of Benteke, you can't rely on Plange. You need to bring in another striker.
No, 100%. I think you should bring in another striker, a younger, less expensive striker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. But let us know what you guys think about the Benteke rumors. Would you be upset if he was to leave? I know some of you are probably over the moon because you haven't been a fan of Benteke for a very long time. But for me, I feel like he has more of a role to play this season. But going forward, we have to make that decision as a football club because it's reaching a point. He's not getting any younger. His contract is going to run out. And if he's not going to play, then what's the point of keeping him?
31?
I don't know. He's probably, I think he's in his 30s or 31. Early 30s anyways.
By the way, I use out of contract this summer too. So
and he's another player that can leave, T.
Yep.
For me,
I don't see him staying either. I mean, he's done
because Braxaki.
Yep.
Braxaki is and Olise and Braxaki down the right hand side. I feel like that's good. Braxaki doesn't need to start, but Braxaki can be that second option. Mm-hmm. So if you're talking about let him, because the process ain't done, by the way. It wasn't done this summer when we brought in all them players. We still need to improve certain areas. And I feel like Ayew leaving, Braxaki coming in, that would be absolutely fantastic. So for me, it has to be Braxaki and Olise down the right hand side. I think Ayew moving on is another good thing as well. He's done his job. Don't get me wrong. He's been a solid player for us. But Luton!
They scored again.
They scored. It's 2-1. It's not over. I told you it's not over. 2-1 Luton. 39 minutes. What a goal. Rudiger's looking back at his goalkeeper thinking, what on earth just happened?
Yeah, but wow. he's also looking back at his goalkeeper realizing it's not Mendy back there.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, who are you? Who are you? Wow,
get this guy out of here.
It was like a counter-attack. Just one ball. And then they got what great football though. Great football from Luton. It's not cheesy. Wow. Chelsea.
Come on, Luton. Come on, Luton.
Chelsea are in the mud, man. They talked about the owner selling the club. Now they're losing to Luton.
Hey man, it's affecting everybody.
What 2-1? They're in the game. Once again. Austin says get rid of all the Roy era guys. Yeah, I agree.
We're well on our way though. We're well on our way. I mean, I can only see maybe I wouldn't even call it a handful. A few of those guys making it.
We've done a very good job in the summer though.
Yeah,
in the summer we've done a very good job. There's still, of course, we have to get rid of, but you can't just have a squad of 20-year-olds as well. You need a bit of experience there. So
no.
But the balance right now is good. It's good right now, but of course, if players leave, if Benteke and Ayew leaves, then you might be looking at maybe more experience. I don't know. You have to, it's a conversation for another day. It's something to consider. You can't just have like a bunch of like 18-year-olds in the squad and expecting them to win. Korea says it. I don't want to say it, but you guys can see on the screen. Palace have picked up. I'm not saying it. It's not going to be easy, by the way. Even if we do get Luton, let's say, or that's if they do go through. I love their pressing, though, T. They're not treating Chelsea like, clubs, low league clubs when they face top opposition. Even yesterday, Stoke, they've done a good job as well. They're not sitting back. They're pressing them nicely. And that's what you like to see, a club that plays proper football. So apparently Oliver said Liverpool's gone a weak side as well. So right now this is like Palace focus plus FA Cup on the side. We're looking at all the results.
Plus the FA Cup
looking
updates.
at all the results on the side as well. CP for Life says glad to see Jaron score sheet and gives an opportunity to prove himself. But real hero was Joachim Andersen. Yeah, off the line. Great save from him.
I was saying to myself, Joachim looked real Joel Wardish.
I mean, Woody loves them type of challenges, like on the line, putting his body like everywhere. He's learning from the main man himself. But Gyro, just quickly, I don't think anything changes. I genuinely still don't think he has a chance at Palace, which is sad. But I spoke about it in the player ratings. If you haven't done so, after this, go watch it. I don't know if you heard about what Marola said. He plays a big role in the training grounds.
He took those guys under his wing.
And that is a big role in football. If some of these players, they can go first team football and feel isolated. But if Gyro is there helping them out, then that helps our youth players. So everyone seems like they love Gyro. We love Gyro as well. But
because Gyro was a guy that came through the academy at Ajax the same way. So he's able to impart that wisdom for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But he plays a role. He plays a role that we don't see. And yesterday, Marola proved that as well. So hopefully he stays at the club, but surely sooner rather than later, he might want to be thinking about actually playing football rather than doing, the background stuff, which is not paid to do, is actually paid to play football. Tim says, this time next year, we'll be smashing Europe. Oh, no, we're going there.
Look,
we're going there. I remember
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's
not get ahead of ourselves.
Let's first of all go. Let's see who we get in the next round draw. Because right now, with knowing Palace, we could easily get Man City away from us.
Oh my God!
Like everyone said, Liverpool can get knocked out. They can get knocked out.
Oh man!
So I hope beating West Ham 1-0 as well.
If my hope is that if Chelsea ends up going down in this game, come Thursday when they draw it, Man City against Liverpool.
Oh yeah. Oh, Man City against Norwich. Oh, jeez. The crazy thing is, you in a way you might actually you don't want Liverpool to go through. Forget about it. I was gonna say in a way you want Liverpool to go through to take on Man City, but then you have Liverpool there. So yeah. Man City is gonna have to beat.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to beat Man City. Let's just say that. Southampton 1-0 up against West Ham. Interesting there.
Southampton's playing good football right now.
It's not a game that I was looking at, to be fair, when I looked at the draws. I think even if Southampton or West Ham go through, unless we draw against them, I think we've got a chance. But Southampton have been on form. Now, finally, let's talk about the game on the weekend against Wolves. Going back to the Premier League. See, I don't know about you, but ever since the FA Cup and what happened yesterday, the league we're looking at the games we've got. Wolves coming up, City coming up. Surely, of course, well, you don't want the players to think about this, but for me in the league, I looking at it, I'm not really that fussed. If we're going to stay up, we're going to stay up. We're not going to push for top 8. It's getting too far out of reach. We look like we're pretty much comfortable in terms of staying up. What's your attitude now from here onwards towards the league? Are you worried that there may be a bit of complacency? Because in the back of their minds, players are thinking, all right, we're not going to do anything here. We've got the FA Cup. Are you worried that, the attitude towards the league might suffer?
I'd hope not, because we're talking about professional athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like, in being a professional, you should carry yourself as such, and every game matters. You know what I mean? Because even if it comes to the end of the season, it's like when you're fighting for a few places in the league. I mean, that's thousands of dollars, millions of dollars difference that you'll receive. It's a big difference in money from finishing 13th as it is from finishing 10th. You know what I mean? So that, along with the fact that, for us, it's all about building confidence. It's about building chemistry within this system. So I think it's important for us to take every game very seriously that's left in the league, because it's all going to be more important for us going into the next year as well. So
Exactly. Nick says we can beat anyone on our day. We played about 8 minutes of days of football in the cup and win the quarterfinal. And the draw, yep, the draw's on Thursday. The draw's
Yep,
on
Thursday.
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 We'll
Yep.
probably do a reaction to it.
It's Thursday,
See
right
who we
before
get.
the
Yeah,
It's right before the Everton Bournemouth game.
Everton. Yeah, Bournemouth game.
Mhm.
Bournemouth game. So just talking about the Wolves game, how you feeling towards it? I think if you're looking at yesterday's performance against Stoke, I'm worried if we're gonna be playing like that because we are gonna get absolutely destroyed. But do you think the players will show reaction after what Vieira said? Because Vieira was not happy. Vieira said that he was very disappointed with the performance. Are we
Mhm.
expecting a reaction from yesterday's game? Even though it sounds weird of me saying that because we won yesterday's game against Stoke.
I think there will be a reaction because honestly, I'm sure he told the squad that before we even got to hear him say it in the interview. You know what I'm saying? When they were in the changing room, I'm sure he let them know about his displeasure to how they played, and they didn't play well. You know what I mean? So you get pretty much a full week, almost a full week to prepare
Yeah.
for Saturday. So I mean, I would expect us to come out and put on a good performance at Wolves. To be honest with you.
Yeah, this is a good point, by the way, by Cyrus. He says one thing about yesterday. It is the first time we won ugly this year. I think if we want to be the top 7, 8 team in the league in the future, we have to find a way to win, even if we don't play our best.
I
100%
literally
agree.
said this yesterday.
Yeah,
Literally said it because
yeah,
it's important to be able to win these kind of games and know what it means to win these kind of games because it's going to be other times during this season and the next where we're going to find ourselves in these dog eat dog rough rugged games. Just like it's ugly and it's like, hey, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to get this win? But now we have the ability to say, hey, we've been here before. We know we need to do in order to get across the finish line and get the win. So as ugly as that game was and as disappointed as we may have been with the overall play, you have to respect the fact that even when we weren't playing at our best, we were still able to get a win because that's
the
important.
ne-
That's an important trait of a winning
is
team.
exactly the next step for us is now to win ugly against a Premier League side. That's like the next goal. When we do
Or
that,
yeah, exactly. Yes, win ugly against a Premier League side.
yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
as long as we do that as well, I don't think anyone's going to complain if you get these wins. Of course, you want your team playing well, but here and there, if you win ugly, it's fine. It's fine. If you do that, I mean, 30
Three
out of
points.
38 games,
Three
then boy,
points. 3 points is 3 points in the league. Whether you win ugly, or you win pretty.
yeah. Alvin says, I'd love Palace to have a good cup run from a Coventry fan. Alvin, I'm not saying that because you're a Coventry fan and you're here right now. I'm saying this because deep down my heart, I've been following the championship in terms of results, not in terms of performance. I want Coventry to get promoted. You lot need to get promoted. I want that to happen. So good luck, Calvin, in terms of
How are they doing in the champ right now?
They're doing well. They're doing well. I haven't got the league table up right now, but ever since I look at the championship table pretty much every single day because it changes, they're all in and about like the playoffs. They're trying to push there, but of course still not quite there. So that's when I last checked, anyways. But hopefully Coventry do go in the playoffs because imagine Coventry, Luton right now beating Chelsea, getting promoted to the Premier League. I
Wow.
mean, it's a bit different. It's a bit different to what we normally get. So I'll like that. I'll like that. Miller says I got Wolves tickets. I happen to go general sale. Yeah, it normally does. It never really happens. Was beating Brighton last season, winning ugly too. Beating Brighton last season.
It's the same. It's the
That
same
was
thing.
like the ugliest wins I've ever seen.
But in the end,
I can't remember an uglier win than that.
in the end, to us, what does it matter? Like, what matters is we.
It was under a
right.
different manager as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But Milo saying they're going under the radar. I don't know, man. I mean, they're in eighth place. They're in eighth. They're in eighth place right now.
But I recorded an opposition preview, T. I recorded an opposition preview, and it's going to be posted tomorrow. And I had a good chat about this. In terms of actually facing them, their expected goals against this season. So they've only conceded 21 goals. The expected goals against this season is 34. They are doing well,
way better,
way better than they should.
Yep.
And I asked him this question, and it's going to be out tomorrow. Is the bubble going to burst? And he was, well, part of him was like, all right, it's fine. And part of him was like, I don't know. Look, Wolves are a great team, but in the last game against West Ham, they lost 1-0. Against Arsenal, they lost 2-1. They don't score a lot of goals. And remember at home when we faced them.
And don't forget, don't forget before we faced them the first time, everybody was talking about how well they're playing, how good they look, and how and what form they were on. And we came out and we put on a control. Like that's probably our most convincing win all year long. in the
Are
league.
you optimistic going into the game?
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I think that we're in a position where we can definitely get some points out of that without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know they're probably going to make some adjustments to what we saw from them the first time, but I mean, I got all the faith in the world in this squad and this manager.
So in terms of changes, any changes that you make, because we played this pretty strong lineup against
Mhm.
Stoke. Maybe Mitchell comes back in. I think
Yep.
not even maybe that's going to happen. Mitchell's going to come back in if he's fit, which I
Yep.
think he should be. In midfield, Will Hughes, Kuyata, which I thought he had a very good game against Stoke. One of the positives out of all the negatives that we talked about after winning the game, of course. I thought he was solid, Kuyate. Gallagher didn't start. Are you expecting changes in midfield going forward? Is JP going to start again?
I think it'll in the midfield. It'll be Kuyate and Maka and Gallagher. I mean, we rested Maka. He didn't play at all. Gallagher came on in the substitute role, so I can see all three of them being in the midfield. Biggest question is up front. I think we know Zaha's going to be on the left. I think we're pretty confident Olise will be on the right. It's just who starts up top. And
so who does start for you? Who starts for Vieira? Who starts for Vieira? Is he doing the game? Because he talked about after the game and he's saying, I want to paraphrase because I can't remember what Patrick told me. He said something along the lines of there were a couple performances, a couple plays that were not up to speed, something like that. I can't remember it. Patrick told me this, so don't blame me if he didn't say that. But let's say if that was true and you're talking about potentially Jordan Ayew and JP, surely you can't start JP after that, because if you start JP after that performance, Edward's going to be looking at you. Benteke is going to be looking at you saying, what's going on? What is going on? And rightly so.
I know I wouldn't expect to see JP, but it honestly would surprise me if I saw him start that game a little bit. I think it raises a little bit of eyebrows there.
You can't. It's just the wrong message. We're talking about wrong message.
But you and I are on the same page, man. I think Edward should be making that start. I do. I
remember in the Roy Hodgson period, we're talking about wrong messages getting sent out to players and competition, and we're slowly approaching that category with our striking options. Because if JP continues to start, regardless, if he had a performance like that against Stoke, and he starts the next game, and Edward and Benteke haven't had the opportunity for a very long time, proper opportunity, then he just sends the wrong message to them players.
And he's going against better center back competition.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you have to make changes up there. He can't start after that performance. Maybe come on as a sub appearance, but there are other players there. There's competition there, so use the competition as well. But I think what Austin says pretty much sums up. Who's us for Vieira? Even Vieira doesn't know that, and I think that's been the main problem. You can change it from game to game, but you need to see a bit more consistency in the starting lineup. I'm not just talking about striking options. A bit more, midfield. Let Maka start, Gallagher start, Kuyate start potentially. Just don't change it too much. Maybe one or changes here and there, but even then, how many changes have we had so far this season, especially up front? It's sometimes you need a run out. After the Watford game, after winning 4-1. Personally, I didn't want any changes, and then we saw changes there as well. And then we saw against Burnley, we didn't win that game. Sometimes have the line. If a lineup works well in the previous game, start off like that. If it doesn't work well, change it at half time. You can easily change it, and that's my mentality towards it. But finally, before we actually, let's read this comment before we actually talk about the prediction. CP for Life says 4-3-3 against Wolves. Connor is a must start. We're gonna need the energy on JP. And JP, where's Eddie though? Everyone's saying where's Eddie? Hashtag find Eddie. Where is he? Where is Edward?
I saw.
He's there. He's there in spirit.
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet earlier today, and the guy was like, we were singing "I Want to Be Edward" before. Now I just want to see Edward.
Yeah. I want to see Edward. I want to see Edward. I want to see Edward. That actually works. If that continues happening, that might be the new chant.
That might be the chant.
Edward getting an opportunity.
Yeah.
That would actually be funny. But yeah, Connor should start. But let's move on to the final thing of the show, the score prediction for the game. How do you see this one going?
I think honestly, we're going to come in and put in a good performance. I mean, I think it's important for us to have another really good away performance to back up what we did at Watford.
Sad thing is they ain't Watford.
Yeah, sad thing is they're not.
They don't
I'll
concede a lot of goals, but they don't score a lot of goals.
I'll give us 2-2 draw. 2-2 tie.
2-2
Yeah.
for a side that's
Yeah.
only scored 24 goals in like 26 games. That's a lot of goals.
Well,
but
if they have more than 3 corner kicks, they got a chance of getting 2 goals on us.
Oh yeah, you could look at it like that. Or even us, if we put cross into the box, like
Yeah.
we did maybe against Stoke, then maybe we got a
Yeah.
chance of scoring 2 goals as well. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go for 1-0. I'm gonna go for
1-0.
1-0. I think it's gonna be a very good. It should be a very good game on paper because they've got some solid players. We've got some players to counter that. They've got good attackers, Podence. I'm going to see how he does in this game. We've got Mark Gay and Anderson. I thought Gay done a good job against Jimenez when the face was last time around. I'm pretty sure it was Jimenez that started up there.
Yep.
So I feel like we've got a good enough squad. But on the day, I feel like with our draws, I think we've had 12 draws this season. I think it can be another draw. Let's just not lose. Let's not lose.
I mean, if we drew, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset at all.
Exactly. After the week that we had against Stoke, I mean, the performance wasn't that great, but the result.
But the thing
it depends how we draw the game.
And the thing I'm feeling better about too is what we talked about yesterday. The fact that we're coming off of 4 games in 12 days. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now at least we get from
a little bit of break.
A little bit of a break from yesterday all the way to Saturday, so that we can have a little bit of break, some crucial trainings that's going to happen along with the rest piece of it. So I think we're going to come out and play pretty well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Nick says 3-2. I don't know if Wolves have conceded 3 goals this season. They've only conceded 21 goals in like
because we won 2. Did we win 2? Was it 2-0?
2-0, yeah. So yeah, I mean that would be great. We only beat them 2-0, scoring 3 goals. Seek says 2-1 Palace. Gay with the winner, says Nick. We have 3 tough games in March. I'll be fine with 3 to 4 points. Exactly. And I think we're reaching that point where if you get like 33 to 36 points, you should be pretty much safe.
Yeah, because
the 40-point mark is
35
left in history nowadays.
35 has assured safety the past, I think 5 years, they said. 35 points.
No, I think we'll pick up, even if we don't pick up points in these run of games, I think we should be all right. We should be all right to stay up.
Yeah.
We've got some so-called winnable games coming up.
Yeah.
So we should be all right. But I'm going to go for 1-0. You're going to go for 2-1. Let's see. No, you didn't say 2-1.
2-2.
2-2. You said 2-2. Well, it might be 2-1. That's what my heart was. That's my heart speaking.
I think 2-1 is the outcome I want the most, for sure.
Exactly. Well, you wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I mean,
he wouldn't want that 2-1 beating. He wouldn't want the outcome of us winning. But hopefully 2-1. 2-0 would be great because we could keep a clean sheet.
Real quick. Who starts for you in goal?
We didn't talk about that, did we? We didn't talk about that. Vicente. I'm going there. I'm going back. I'm going back to Vicente.
I'm there too, because if he was on the bench yesterday, that means he's healthy enough to play. So
yeah, and I think he edges it for me ahead of Butland. But goalkeeper is an area that we need to strengthen. Not ASAP, but sooner rather than later, because both these goalkeepers ain't Vieira type goalkeepers. But yeah. And finally, Seek says, as I said before, top 10 and the FA Cup win, I'll be fine with that. I love how he says, I love how it says top 10 and an FA Cup win. I'll be fine with that. That's fine. That's fine.
That'll do.
I'll be fine with that. I mean,
our first real trophy.
Our first real trophy. Top 10. Yeah, that'll be all right for the first season. Seek says, GV, but Butland, Vicente he put it the wrong way around. That's why I was like, what? VG, but Butland, both of them are good. So yeah, butt cheeks Butland. But yeah, that's it for this episode. We kept it short because we already spoke about it yesterday.
Almost 45 minutes, man. That's solid.
Exactly. If you're watching this on replay, let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the Wolves game. Do you think we'll go get that win? We'll be back tomorrow with the opposition preview, so make sure to check that out. We should be posted around 4:30 UK time, and also on the weekend with the live match reaction. There's loads more content coming up. Of course, we've got a draw on Thursday night, which is tomorrow. So another video might be dropping. So if you're new here, subscribe to Back of the Nest. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like. Takes a second. Helps us out massively. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.